Hey YouTube, what's happening? It's Chris from Versus 3D, back at 3D Printing Canada. I got another installment of, hey, let's build something cool in Fusion 360 for you. This one we're gonna do today is something that somebody had requested in one of the previous videos. So if you have a request, leave a comment down in the box and hopefully I can come up with a design for you. Anyway, what we're gonna print today, or design and print, is a little tool bin tray holder thing. You'll see it. Anyway, let's go to Fusion and we'll start the design. All right, and here we are in Fusion 360 once again. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start off like I start everything else off, with a sketch. So I'm gonna click on Create Sketch, and on the XY plane, here we go. So now I'm gonna show you a tool that I haven't shown you yet in this series here. I'm gonna hit the S key on my keyboard, and that's gonna bring up my sketch shortcut menu. So what you can do is, I've already added a bunch of things in here. Things that you use frequently, I tend to use line a lot, and rectangle, and circle. Also center rectangle, which is what we're going to use, and I also use patterns and sketch fillets a lot, and points, and all kinds of things. Anyway, so if you wanted to add things to this that you use frequently, you can just search for anything if you don't know where something is. So if I wanted to add shell, because that's a feature we're going to use, so I just type in shell, and then I can add it just by clicking this little arrow here. So now whenever I hit the S key, it will just bring up shell, so I don't have to go up and hit modify. With me? Score. Okay, here we go. So first we're going to start with a center rectangle. So I'm going to start here, I'm going to click and drag out, and I want this to be, we'll say 100 by 150. That wasn't a 50, that was a 0. Here we go. Okay, so now we have a rectangle. Very simply, I'm going to stop the sketch. All right, so now I'm going to extrude this. So I'm going to hit E, click on the profile, drag it up. I want this to be 75 millimeters, and hit enter. Okay, I'm going to move a little bit faster in this because I'm hoping you're getting the hang of it by now. So now that I have this is just the basic shape for our bin. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add another sketch. So I'm going to click on this profile right here and click Add Sketch. So what I'm going to do here first is I'm going to project this square or rectangle. So P for project, and I'm going to click on that and hit OK. That's all I need there. And I'm going to draw one more line. So L for line. I'm going to start at this top corner, and I'm going to drag down, and I want this angle to be somewhere around 75. That's fine. Okay, and hit escape, and then I'm done. So now we have two separate profiles. I'm going to stop the sketch and go back to the home view. So now here's that profile that I just created. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to click E for extrude. So now if we wanted to extrude, we go this way, but I want to cut, so we're going to go this way. So I could just do this and cut all the way through it, but that's not how I want it to be, because if I decide later I want to make it wider or thinner, whatever dimension I tell this to be, that's all it would be. So if I said I wanted to make this, if I did this like this, and then I said, oh, well, geez, I really wanted to make this wider. If I were to go back and change the sketch and make it wider, this cut would only be this deep. So we don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up to extent over here, and instead of changing distance, we're going to hit to all. Okay, so now no matter what I do, if I change this first sketch and I make it wider or narrower, this will always cut the entire piece. Okay, so now we're good there. So now we can hide that sketch because we really don't need it anymore. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to use a couple of cool features. So I'm going to look at the top here right now, and I want to use that shell command. I'm going to go modify, and I never find it, shell. I'm going to hit that top face, and this is actually going to make a shell, and we're going to make that 3 millimeters thick. So now all of these 4 walls and the floor are all 3 millimeters thick. With me so far? Great. Let's keep going. So now I'm going to create another sketch. So I'm going to hide this body for a second. And I don't need to see that first sketch anymore. So I'm going to keep those 2 sketches hidden. I'm going to create a new sketch on that same XY plane. And now I'm going to bring that body back in. I need to project some of these parts. So I'm going to hit P for project. And I want this bottom rectangle. And I want these outside lines here. Okay. So now you can see we've got those. So now we're going to have a little bit of fun. So I'm going to hide the bodies again, and here's our sketch. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to extend these. So I'm going to hit S, and I'm going to go here to extend, which I use frequently. And I'm going to extend this over here, but it's not letting me, so I'm just going to draw a line. So L for line, click, drag, click, drag. Okay, so now these are closed profiles. Now I'm going to offset these. So O for offset. I'm going to click on this, and I want this to be 3 millimeters. I also want to extend these out to that line there. Okay, so now I'm going to bring that body back in just so you can kind of see where we're at here. Oops. So now we've got that outer line there. Okay, now we've got some tricks that are about to happen. So one more thing we need to do is hide that body again. We need to make one more offset. So we need to offset this center one. We only need to offset that 0.1 because this is going to be our tolerance. So what we're going to do now is stop the sketch, and we are going to click on E for extrude, and we're going to click on this center one, and this one. So we now have all of those set up. Now we're going to bring that body back in, and we're going to say start from object, and we're going to click right here. And now we're going to extrude that just 1 millimeter. So you see what that does? That's actually adding a lip from the inner part here going out to the end. Okay, that's exactly what we want. Now we're going to hit E for extrude again. We're going to click on just the outer line. Same thing, we're going to start it from an object. We're going to click on this top section here, and we're going to extrude that 4 more. So now that's 5 millimeters tall total. Okay. So what's going to happen is, if you can see what I'm doing here, this is cut out for this corner down here. It doesn't need to go all the way to the end. It just needs to go right here. Okay, so now this is a very, very basic stackable bin. Now, you're probably going to want to be able to get your hand in there just a little bit anyway. So what we're going to do here is we're going to create another sketch. So I'm going to click create sketch, and I'm going to click on this profile. You see how it angles me up a little bit. So all I'm really going to do here is I'm going to project, so P, and click on this. And that's okay, so now I have the basic face there. Now what I'm going to do is hit L for line. I'm going to move along here until I get my triangle so I know I'm smack in the middle, and draw a line straight down. Then I'm going to hit escape, click on that line and click X, or I could click on construction here, either one. Okay, then I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to go, let's say, from here. We'll go down around here and then right over that center. Okay, and that's it. Now we're going to use the mirror function. So I'm going to click on S, and I'm going to use mirror because I have it in my shortcuts. I'm going to click on this line and this line. And I'm going to select the mirror line, which is this dotted line, and now it's over there too. And then I'm going to stop the sketch. Now I'm going to hit extrude, click on that profile, move it back, and I could go all the way back this way if I wanted to, or extend to all. And now that will cut out that whole section. Hide those sketches, and now you can see it. Okay, so we're pausing here for a second because I wanted to just tell you about something that I may have shown in another video. I don't remember, but I'm going to show you coming up right here. Just a simple way to strengthen parts like this. We're going to be adding some fillets, and you can follow along in the video thing in a second again in the screencast. But it makes something that could be a little bit weaker if it's not super thin, if it's not a super thick part. So we only do these at 3 millimeters thick. If you were going to do it at 5 millimeters or even thicker, a centimeter, you wouldn't have to worry about it so much. But in a case like this, where something's small and kind of fragile, you really want to see how you can beef up your inner corners. So I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So what we're going to do is we'll add some fillets. So we're going to hit F for fillet, and we're going to click on these interior lines here. Okay, so we want all those. Then we are going to move that in, and I'm going to say 3. So you see what that did? It rounded these inner edges. So it's just going to make them just a little bit stronger. So that's all we want right there. And then if we want to do the same thing, F for fillet, we can just kind of add some fillets here to make it a little bit more smooth. And we'll do that there. And that's really it. So a second box will stack on top of this. It will sit right here in this ridge here. And this fillet here just gives it that little bit of extra space to sit on. So pretty cool, huh? If you wanted to, you could make little supports that go inside here that run up just a little bit on the sides and the back. I don't think it's really necessary for, again, the demonstration, but take it where you want to take it. This is your design, not mine. So I think we're good to go here. Let's go print it. So I'm going to hit make, click on it, and I'm going to send it right to Simplify 3D. And today we're going to use Ultra Magnus. Ultra Magnus is a standard CR10 with, what do I have on him? He's got an E3D V6 hot end. So we're going to center and arrange this. But now, for what we're doing, this is just a demonstration. I'm not going to print this full size. So I'm going to double click and I'm going to scale this down to, let's say, 70%. Okay. Then we're going to add some supports because even on my best day, bridging will not bridge this entire distance. So we need to have some support. So I'm just going to click on the support tab and I can generate some automatic supports. We'll say at 45 degrees and we'll generate them. Where are they? Let's make them smaller. There we go. They need to be pretty small for this. All right, so that's going to support this lip as it prints. So we're done. Now we're going to prepare. We're going to go back to the process. I'm going to show you something that I did here. So within the supports tab, I added inflation distance. So this will make the supports print outside the area of the print or the model. So what's going to happen is, I can't show you. We'll move over here. So you see how this stops before the end? It's going to actually extend the supports out further, so that will really support that. And then also what I did is I set the horizontal offset, so that means this is going to stay 1.6 millimeters away from this wall. That way you won't have a hard time getting the supports off. So when I prepare to print this, you can see my supports extend out beyond the wall here. I also have one layer of vertical separation. So they extend out. I don't want them anywhere near this wall. I just want them to hold this part up. See how that is? All right, so let's back out and let's make another one so we can stack them. So I'm going to duplicate. I'm going to make one more, and yes, I do want to add my supports. And then we'll just center and arrange that. So now it will print two. All right, and here we are. Two light blue stacking bins. And look, they actually stack. I can make an infomercial. Pretty cool. Wait, infomercial? But wait, there's more. I made two more. And I did these in our value black, actually. And what I did is I left the supports on this one particularly so you could see how easy it was to pull them off. So you saw in the video how I did it. Now watch this. That easy. And same thing. Now, there is a time lapse for this that we're going to show you in 1 second. Something really cool about this time lapse, I used another one of my printers. It's a T-Rex 2 Plus. It's a very cool printer because it's what's called an IDEX machine. It's an independent dual extruder. So it actually has two separate extruders on two separate pulleys, and two separate stepper motors. So they move completely independent of each other, or they will work simultaneously together. So what I did is I did what's called ditto mode or duplicate mode. And well, just watch the video, you'll see how it happens. So now you know how something like that works. Pretty cool, huh? So anyway, here we are. They stack. They even stack with each other, usually. Another thing that I figure I will just mention, you'll notice that the black ones are actually quite a bit smoother than the blue ones. Nozzle size. I didn't change the layer height. They're all printed at 0.2 millimeters, but This is a 0.4 millimeter nozzle, and these were a 0.6. So you can see there's just a slight difference in the quality. And there you have it. Stackable tray guys. Pretty easy. You can do this. I have faith in you. Don't forget to ring the bell and subscribe and leave a comment and do this thing. Not this, only these. And there's a link down in the bottom for my personal YouTube channel down there. And I will try to get the models and the Fusion 360 file posted up in the description as well. And if you have any ideas, please, I am running out of ideas of simple things to build. So please leave a comment and give me a suggestion. I would love to do something that somebody actually wants to try to figure out and is having a hard time. So until next time, this is Chris from Versus 3D at 3D Printing Canada. You have a good night.